Hello, everybody, and welcome to our SCWRM Generations commentary of Mortal Kombat, the original 1995 live-action movie. So yeah,
And now I'm here this time.
and Deji's too. Unlike last time, where it was just me who knew everything until, like he himself said, it was a bit dodgy on the knowledge at the time, and Dwebs had no knowledge of the games whatsoever. This time, we were doing this right after we did the first 4 Mortal Kombat games, plus mythologies, but we don't talk about that.
You know, a lot has also changed in the Mortal Kombat scene since the original commentary. Mind you, the original commentary was done back when we were using SVR and Skype for our recordings here and there, so a bit more dodgy. But let's see, what has changed from Mortal Kombat since? Well, they've got an awesome new movie called Scorpion's Revenge.
Yeah,
that's
animated.
Mortal Kombat 11 has come and gone with quite a lot of interesting developments, some of which may not be canon anymore due to fan backlash and whatnot, but hey, it's all in good fun. Oh, and more Mortal Kombat comics and everything. Also,
and there's also a movie coming out,
actual live-action movies.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it's produced by the same guy who produced this movie.
Executive producer.
Lawrence Kasanoff, a guy that has a tendency of not really making things sprout, the things we touch.
Put this into perspective, folks. Paul W.S. Anderson is apparently not the bad guy of this story for once.
Well, this was before he met his wife that he now shoves in our face all the time. So,
oh God, I
look,
wonder if the Monster
I
Hunter
said
movie was any
multiple times,
good.
if you had a hot wife like that, if I had a hot wife like that, I would do the same thing.
no,
I would show restraint.
But this movie, done in 1995, budget 18 million and grossing of 124.7 million, so a huge success.
This movie...
And the writer of this movie will go on to write The Wing Commander.
Oh, great. Kevin Droney.
This movie and its successor from what I've heard are pretty infamous.
This also premieres the iconic Mortal Kombat song, which I think is done by the actual composer, George S.
It's the song is called...
No, George... No, it were different guys. George S. Clinton.
Yeah,
only did
the song. Well, technically, too, the song actually came in before the movie. It's actually called Techno Syndrome, and it's performed by the Immortals.
All right, fair enough.
That said, though, this movie and its sequel are apparently the origin for a lot of things that the game dev crew actually did
despite the fact that these movies are not the best adaptations that can happen, in the usual fashion of being a good sport, Ed Boon actually took a lot of things from these movies and actually integrated them bit by bit in the new canon.
Not just that too. In Deadly Alliance, in the making of featurette, he did say in the MK History video that he did really like the first movie at least.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was about Paul W.S. Anderson, like we said, and at the time it was actually and for a long time it was regarded as the best video game movie that Hollywood made. Obviously, that was not a high bar to meet. But I will still argue that at the time that this movie came out, it was definitely the best we had. Make that what you will.
Guys, look, I jumped over this snake that's crawling on the ground here. I cleared a high bar.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Start in the black screen before the New Line Cinema. As far as I'm aware, there's only one cut of this thing. The YouTube copy is the same, and the Blu-ray copy seems the same. So whatever. So 3, 2, 1, click.
Now, from what I understand, this movie... Oh, yeah.
Man, we're off to a great start.
Again,
yes.
Despite everything, this song is fucking awesome.
It's the only song people associate Mortal Kombat with.
And it's also sort of a happy ending that Warner Bros. Managed to actually, acquire at least a bit of its license to use it in the marketing of MK11. That was actually a thing that the fans really appreciated.
They also made an orchestra remix of it for the trailer of the new movie.
Okay. In regards to this movie and its successor, they are both infamous, but this movie has definitely garnered a cult following, and the reception of it these days is more mixed. Some think of it as a classic, others think of it as a god-awful mess.
It's just called Mortal Kombat. It's an adaptation of the first game, the first tournament.
Pretty much, straightforward.
And here's Shang-Tsung.
Played by... I'm trying to get the actor in the meantime. Because
fun fact, Webs, this actor who plays Shang-Tsung in this movie, he's now the actor playing Shang-Tsung in the most recent Mortal Kombat game. So
Kari
Okay.
Hiroyuki Tagawa. There we go.
yeah.
Okay. Question: Is he wearing makeup, or does he have a condition that makes his face always look like he's scaling? Jesus Christ!
I actually really love this guy in the role. Like, and
Oh yeah, I love him too. But I
he
seriously
doesn't
wonder,
look
though.
old. He doesn't look old and for beard like he does in the game, but he makes up for it by really delivering in a memorable. He puts his own spin on the character while still being faithful to how Shang-Tsung is supposed to be anyway.
The games anyway have a justification on the fact that Shang-Tsung absorbs the soul to become young again anyway, so might as well.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
He
That's
literally stares at the camera.
there you go.
saying
That's where Shang-Tsung's iconic line that he now.
I don't even know who you are. Why are you pointing at me?
That's
But,
so there you go. That's where Shang-Tsung's iconic line that he says now that you people here nowadays came from this movie. Your soul is mine. Because
to be fair, in Mortal Kombat 11, they did get this actor to reprise his role.
Yeah,
as-
I already said. Now, Liu Kang, our protagonist, is played by Robin Shao, and talk about perfect. Look at him. This guy was born to
Wow,
play
he
Liu
really
Kang.
does look like him.
Didn't the most recent game have a DLC skin of the actors from this movie?
Yeah, some of them.
Only for Christopher Lambert as Raiden, Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage, and the actress who played Sonya in this movie. Not for the other ones.
Speaking
There
of
she is.
Sonya,
Oh, speak of the devil. There she is.
Also, just check. Robin Shaw apparently was the character of 14K in the Death Race movies, the reboot series. But actually, no.
So yeah, Sonya is doing exactly what you think she's doing. She's trying to find Kano so she can arrest him because Kano's the eternal enemy. Yes.
Bridget Wilson as Sonya Blade.
Yeah, just make sure she doesn't go near any cliffs, because
Yeah.
Jarek could live. Don't worry.
Well, Jarek is basically a Kano clone anyway too, so I don't blame him anyway.
This was actually.
Here you go. This is actually the movie that basically created the modern incarnation of Kano, because before this
with
movie,
Australian accent.
Kano was actually half Asian, and was bald. However, Ed Boon really liked the Australian wisecracking, funny Kano persona for this movie, so he decided to adopt that into the reboot trilogy.
You
This
know,
was apparently
okay,
the first movie for a couple of his actors. For example, Trevor Goddard as Kano. Go on, Joe. I'll mention more in that later.
that's another reason why people seem to be split on this movie. Should we consider it terrible for not adapting well what was established, or consider it somewhat remarkable genius for being apparently good enough to actually influence the direction of the series? Granted, the Resident Evil movies also influenced the direction of their series, and that was to much
can't
more
hear
of
my
a
old-
less.
Here's the difference. This influenced the direction of the series in a positive light.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
you guys can't
yeah.
hear my audio.
No.
No.
We would've let you know if
Anyway,
we
there we
could.
go. Bridget Wilson. She was in. I Know What You Did Last Summer, actually.
Wait, was Freddie Prinze Jr. in that?
Yes, sir. Yes, he was there.
I actually really like her as Sonya. Actually, she not only looks the part, but she can be a convincing action heroine.
Also, the House of Haunted, the House on Haunted Hill. As for Trevor Goddard, let me see. He was in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but he's mostly done.
Here we go.
Oh my god, it's Charlie Cox from Daredevil.
There's Johnny Kage.
Johnny Cage, played by Lyndon Ashby.
AKA a guy who should be played by The Miz if this new continues.
Yes.
And this was also the movie that the first game, the first two games were out at the time, and they already imply that Johnny Cage was an egotistical Hollywood star, and this movie got Johnny Cage's persona absolutely perfect. And once again, Ed Boon looked at this and thought, "Yep, they got Johnny Cage right, and I'll even model myself after this."
So at this point, audience are probably wondering, you said all this positive stuff. Why was this movie supposedly hated?
Well, okay, here's the basic.
Really?
No. At the time, it was actually liked. See, here's the thing about this movie. The movie, if you actually want to take an objective look at it, it's not a good movie, but it is fun to watch if you're a fan. Oh, I love this line.
Cut. Yeah, seriously. Amateurs.
Yeah, I love Evan Ashby as Johnny Cage. He really captures his persona perfectly.
This was still also
okay, is
early
that
in his
the actual
career,
filming
actually.
crew of this movie?
Oh, look, it's discount Steven Spielberg. Like,
Oh my god,
I don't think that's Paul W. Anderson.
no, but he looks like Steven Spielberg though.
Yeah,
know,
I get the idea we want to do that.
I always get a kick out of when we see filming sets.
Wait,
It's
Lauren
so-
Ashby was in Iron Man 3?
Yes,
He was.
He was.
Who was he?
A commander.
Oh, so I'm getting.
Generic military man, I guess.
It's a shame
It's
because
like,
it's a shame. I really wish you'd see him in more prominent roles. Oh well, because I actually. Oh, here you go.
He's mostly doing TV stuff. Oh,
There you go.
It's like
So yeah,
how Kate.
What the hell's Jack Nicholson doing here?
no, it's not Jack Nicholson. Yes, Jova.
It's like how Kate Mara was in Iron Man 2. You realize? Oh yeah, Kate Mara was in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
It was in a worse movie later
This
on.
is actually a new character they came up with for this movie called Master Boyd, aka the guy who taught Johnny Cage's martial arts, which is actually a neat idea because in the games we never established how Johnny Cage learned his martial arts, so it's a nice touch.
played by Peter Jason.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has a very extensive career too. Oh, he was in Congo in the same year.
Well,
Huh.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I actually prefer this movie over that one, to be honest.
Escape from L.A., Dante's Peak.
Sorry. This movie to that one. Sorry.
This guy is in
okay.
a lot of things that I see.
Oh, but hold on, guys. Turns out it was Shang-Tsung in disguise using his morphing ability. So yeah,
Well, let me guess. He killed the real boy, didn't he?
probably.
I
Oh.
get the feeling that Boyd wasn't a real guy to begin with.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, Johnny recognized him, Dwib, so I'm assuming.
No, Dibs, no, Pedro. I think what Dibs is implying was that it was Sang Shun probably disguised as this Boyd guy the entire time.
Well, the movie never establishes that, Dwib, so we don't know. Anyway, okay, so to be fair, the Shaolin Temple. At the time that this movie production, it's called the Temple of Light, not the Shaolin Temple or the Shaolin Monastery. I'm okay with this because at the time the mythology wasn't as strengthened and defined as it is now. So, whatever. It's just a temple with monks. They got the basic gist of it right. Whatever.
But Pedro, Mortal Kombat 4 told me there was a completely different character who was training to be a Shaolin monk instead of Liu Kang.
Wasn't a thing.
Actually, that's a good question instead. Where did they film these?
I can check that one if you want.
Again, Robin Shao. I don't know how they found this guy, but goddamn, this is one of the most perfect cast interests I've ever seen. He looks like Liu Kang. He's even the right race, the right nationality. He's even great at martial arts. I mean, he actually is also. I mean, he's no Marlon Brando, but his acting is fine for what he needs to do.
So
Okay,
they pretty much keep him around.
Gone.
I found original.
The location,
found the,
gone.
Locations. They filmed some bits at an abandoned steel mill in California. They also filmed in Thailand. Also, fun fact for the bits in Thailand that they had to film, and you could only get to them by boat.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing
the
about
Messiah.
Liu Kang.
No, he's the
Sorry,
Forsaken one.
Yeah.
About the
Yes,
casting
Pedro?
for this movie.
Yes, go ahead.
They originally cast Cameron Diaz as Sonya Blade.
Huh.
Interesting. I can see that actually,
Okay.
but
Me too.
okay.
But she had a wrist injury, and so they got Bridget Wilson instead.
But-
Also, they originally got a guy named Steve James to play Jax, but a year before production began, he sadly died from.
Oh, here it is. Here he is.
Here's Raiden, played by the Connor McLeod himself, Christopher Lambert.
and they got him in the Mortal Kombat 11 commercial.
Yeah.
How do you know how to play this guy? In him, we have history.
Okay, some people are split on this because, yeah, the way Raiden looks in this movie doesn't look anything, nor does he even sound anything like you typically have in the games. However, I can see the thought process here. Considering Raiden is, the god of thunder, a big authority figure in the games, you need a veteran actor who has a very strong presence. So they got the Highlander guy, which is an interesting way to go about it. Sure.
Also, they needed some star power, so...
Yeah.
Also, apparently, apparently he was so excited to do this movie that he was basically doing this film unpaid.
Huh.
That's actually pretty cool. No. Christopher Lambert apparently is a really cool guy. So, and yeah, that's actually one good example of that. Let me actually finish. There you go. And they even got the lightning eyes right. Very good. One thing about Liu Kang that they changed here is that, and I can understand why they did. So in the original games, Liu Kang is the typical hero, the pure-hearted guy who, of course, will do everything because great justice. However, the filmmakers wanted to try to give him a bit more of an emotional motivation for being in the tournament. Specifically, the fact that, as we saw at the beginning, Shang-Tsung killed his brother, and that's the main and even though they don't want him to go into the tournament with revenge in his mind, because that's not really what will make
mentality.
That's not really what makes you a great warrior. It does help give Liu Kang more character in comparison to how he was in the games at the time. So, fine.
Well, not in a direct way. This is also one thing that will be implemented in the new timeline, where Liu Kang does start like the pure hero that is in the original timeline, but slowly essentially gets deconstructed as a character until,
Damn.
he becomes full of hatred and spite.
How many stuff do you need to bring into a fucking tournament, Johnny?
Yes.
Anyway,
This is Johnny Cage. He's a prima donna, egotistical.
Rude.
Yeah, this is another thing. Here's another interesting thing that I'm guessing you'll probably want to make a comment on this. The press, aka the film critics, are accusing Johnny Cage of faking his moves in a movie.
Remind me again something, guys. Sorry, go on.
I get the feeling these film critics aren't aware of the concept of a film. But anyway, this is funny.
Yeah.
He thinks this is a ballet.
That's somehow racist, Johnny.
Hold on.
Is he good?
Hold on. Here's the punchline. In a moment.
Click.
Hey, remind me again, what year was Big Trouble in Little China?
I don't know.
I'll check.
Because the thought process for Johnny Cage is a bit similar.
1986.
Oh yeah, definitely taking. I get the idea that probably also the original game took inspiration from that.
That's not ominous at all.
Yeah, this is another cool thing that. This is another cool thing that Ed Boon implemented into the new stuff, because in the original game they're just in the tournament just because they never actually explain how they get to Shang-Tsung's island. But this idea of a creepy boat was also employed in later.
Now it's practically the de facto thing that happens constantly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this movie, it's one of those unique cases where the games made the game aged better. Because, when you watch this movie with today's knowledge, there's so many stuff here that's in the games nowadays that, it just feels right,
Also, I actually forgot, was that supposed to be Jax?
Yes, that's Jax.
That was the guy that was like, "This is not a brutality.
It's one of
a fatality."
He's one of those actors that was replaced in the sequel too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that happened.
So was almost everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, Jova?
So again, though, I'm really not gauging though, because from what I have seen, there are some people who do legit find this a bad adaptation. Like, not just it's a bad movie, but no, people call it a bad adaptation. Like, well, is it based off of the thing that you could argue it was sort of going against the grain of?
Well, let me put it this way, Jova. At the time of its release, while it did get.
I gotta give Johnny Cage credit. The fact that someone just pointed a gun at his face and he was just casually talking to her, that's commendable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Des, given what we know later, he's going to be laying some pipe down there.
That's an interesting thing, Joe. It was this movie. It was this movie that brought on the idea of Johnny Cage and Sonya being a couple, which Ed Boon implemented into an actual thing. Oh well, I don't know, Tim. I actually really love the Cage family storyline in the reboot trilogy. To be honest with you,
it's fine. Honestly, it's fine.
Anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
I was saying that in 1995, Jova, remember, at the time, the newest game was that was going to come out right in the same year was Mortal Kombat 3. So at the time, there were some people who, of course, some of the more purists didn't like how Kano was radically different. Some people didn't like how Liu Kang's personality was changed. But nowadays, now that people, thanks to the movies implement... Okay, you want to talk about negatives, Jova? Here's a negative. Unfortunately, while Scorpion and Sub-Zero...
Sub-Zero and Scorpion together?
That's exactly the problem, Jova. See? Yeah. Oh, he's going to explain now, actually. Yes, but...
What?
Yes, unfortunately, Jova, even though they got their looks right, for some reason they decided to make Scorpion and Sub-Zero just pawns of Shang-Tsung, and their history together is never even mentioned in the movie.
Until the CGI is not...
Yeah.
Forget the CGI. I don't recall that really being one of Scorpion's
I do,
abilities
however, like Raiden's lightning effects. They look fine for the time, especially.
So is Ed Boon doing the get over here in this film?
Yes. So.
Yes, of course, Drips. I mean, you remember, Drips. The new movie tried to do it without him, and we all know how that turned out. Sorry, I think the "get over here" line in the new movie sounds lame. But anyway,
Well, I mean, they've got. I mean, maybe it's going to be like that in the film.
Are you talking about Scorpion's Revenge?
No, the new live-action movie.
Trailer might be released.
Yes, it's not Ed Boon doing it, and
Patrick Stace can do the get over here naturally.
he can. Oh, he can. Oh, he
It's
can.
like that was something he was born to do.
This is also such another element that Scorpion's Revenge would also implement. The Shang-Tsung constantly, Raiden not being allowed to interfere because he's an elder god. So
Also, Jova, just be glad we're not doing the.
Sorry.
I forgot what was the title of it. That horrible 2D and 2D 3D animated short that essentially abridges the entirety of this movie. Because that was actually very terrible.
Really? Look, we're on a mystical ship in the middle of some ghostly cloud.
that's
time
one.
to talk nuance. Again, you're in the middle.
Again. See, when it comes to these three characters, they got them pretty much spot on. Like, seriously. Liu Kang describes Raiden exactly like he is, and Johnny reacts exactly how you'd expect Johnny to react. Yeah, pretty much spot on.
I think, this is an interesting kind of adaptation. It's the kind of adaptation that some people may hate, but when you get down to it, does a lot of things so good that it actually influences the source material. Like, I'll admit, there is something to be respected about an adaptation. Granted, sometimes that can just be chalked up to an adaptation getting very lucky that, the people in charge of the source material ended up liking it, or in the case of some other cases, they have a huge bias towards that adaptation. But
all right, go ahead,
seems
Tia.
to have earned it. Go on,
Let me say this, Jova. I'll take this over stuff like the Tekken live action movies because those have no idea how to treat the source material, nor do they have real respect towards it.
Yeah,
Don't tell me they ended up influencing the source material, did they?
No.
The Street Fighter movie did, partially.
Yeah.
Yoshiori Ono loves M. Bison, so you don't
Let me
support that.
let me just finish my earlier point, though. Yeah,
Go on.
even though they got the good guys pretty much spot on. I mean, yeah, Raiden looks different and sounds different, but his characterization and overall role is still the same, so fair enough. And I do love Christopher Lambert anyway, so whatever. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room: Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are the fan favorite Mortal Kombat characters.
Yeah,
and
even I knew that.
From a visual standpoint, yeah, they look exactly like you'd expect them to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can argue maybe there could be some. Oh, yeah, that's actually one of my favorite lines already in this movie. The fate of the world rests in your hands. Sorry. It's like he realized he was being cringy. So sorry, I was just having fun.
So let me get this straight: the fate of the world ends in the hands of this guy that doesn't believe in you, a cocky, egotistical movie star, and hot-headed cop.
Basically, yeah. Well, okay.
I'm sure we got a fighting chance. Oh.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay. We want to show off our CGI, I guess.
Oh God, Zordon!
Oh, yeah, 'cause
what
your
happened to
CGI
your
is that
face?
impressive.
Okay.
Seriously, Zordon, you look like you've been seeing better days.
Okay. Okay.
This is what Ivan
Too much
Ooze did to
fatality
him.
energy is dangerous.
Scorpion. I love how deliciously hammy
Seriously,
he is.
seriously. Like I asked, does that guy have some face condition that makes him look like he's always scowling? Seriously.
I know, right? Anyway, okay. To be fair, the movie does acknowledge that they're deadly enemies and that they're just under the control of some.
Wait, did you guys hear the story about how they casted Shang-Tsung? How he auditioned for the role?
Hold on, Dej. First, let Pedro finish his thing.
Okay, so yeah, you do acknowledge it, but at the same time, like, okay, I get that you wanted to maybe focus on, the heroes in particular, and not make the movie maybe too crowded by also implementing the origin story of how they became enemies and all that stuff. I can understand that, but at the same time, you still relegated them to just Shang-Tsung's pawns. They have exactly zero characterization in this movie. They're definitely the low point of the movie, and considering Jova, they're the fan favorites, you can see why someone would be mad at this.
I think for what it's worth, the Scorpion's Revenge movie made the right decision in making an adaptation of the first story more so Scorpion story, because, it worked out. I mean, okay, yeah, look, for Liu Kang, there's always going to be Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3 to have it be his main story.
True.
But in regards to, like, the first one, well, okay, to be fair to this movie, I can get why they would default to it, because Liu Kang was pretty much the face of the series. Even though he wasn't the most popular.
Yeah, it was pretty much Scorpion that was the face.
No.
Well, nowadays, yes. Nowadays, yes, Deji, but at the time, no. Liu Kang was pretty much the one that was always up front. Nowadays, Scorpion is always marketed as, like he's in the cover of 11, he's in the cover of 10, but not so much back in these days, actually.
Yeah. And when you get down to it, though, Scorpion's Revenge has arguably the best formation of it. Yes, Liu Kang is the guy meant to be the main hero, but Scorpion is the guy who ends up actually getting stuff done for one reason or another.
Johnny, you probably should have only brought one of those.
I can't imagine, to be honest, I can't imagine how they would have done an adaptation of Mortal Kombat 4 with those silly endings.
Oh, they'd find a way to
That's the thing, that Shinnok is in the second movie, so we'll just wait and see.
Which came out first? This or the Street Fighter movie?
I think it was a Street Fighter movie.
Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was
That came out in
also, I believe,
1994.
Paul W.S. Anderson was also involved in. Jesus
No,
Christ.
he wasn't.
Really?
Get him away from video games.
I could have sworn he was involved in that. Let me check.
No, that was Stephen E. D'Souza who did the Street Fighter.
Okay, so okay. Here's one character that's kind of a mixed bag. Kitana.
Oh.
She doesn't look blue, but okay, that's fine. It's just a color. Who cares? Fine. The problem is that she doesn't use her fans at all in this game. So
She's played by.
Doesn't even look like
she's played by Talisa Soto, who we've seen in Ballistic.
Oh, great.
Great.
And I'll be honest, her
she
acting
was in
was not
License to
good
Kill.
here, and it didn't get any better by them.
Yeah, basically,
Ah,
Kitana in this game.
Jesus.
It's reboot CGI. No.
Yeah, Kitana in this game. Okay, they get the. Okay. If I guess if I'm going to give at least a positive, this movie established the whole 10,000 years old thing, because in the original games we didn't know how old she was. They never established anything about her aging or anything. But this movie introduced the idea that she's a 10,000-year-old princess, which once again Ed Boon would adopt later. So that's that. There's that. However, she looks nothing like Kitana, and she doesn't even fight like Kitana, and she doesn't even really have the royal grace that makes her a distinguished, refined character. She's just kind of here to serve as like an exposition dump, really.
oh, and
she's not even dressed like a
also
ninja,
Talisa Soto
for
was-
Christ's sake. Hold on. She's not even dressed like a ninja, for Christ's sake. Like, with the way her dress is, she would need a completely different
Raiden.
fighting style.
Bye, Raiden.
And it feels...
Yeah, she's dressed as a princess.
Also, interestingly enough, Talisa Soto was actually in License to Kill the most recent Bond film up to this point.
Yeah, this is another scene.
mentioned
Sorry,
it.
this is another scene that Scorpion's Revenge remade in its own story. The dinner scene
they
where
also had that character from the PS2 game interact with Johnny Cage.
Nitara, yeah.
I guess to be fair, maybe they wanted to differentiate Katana from.
All right, boys, we did it. Roll credits, final thoughts, and
All right, might as well. Speaking of
Anyway.
that, go ahead. Sorry.
To the movie's credit, maybe they didn't want to have her be a ninja because, they probably figured, we should try and differentiate the cast up more so, since I think even back by Mortal Kombat 2, there was the complaint of, oh my god, so many ninjas here and there who look pretty much the exact same. So maybe they were trying to differentiate her more because they figured, we got Sub-Zero and Scorpion already,
that's
but
a
I don't
stretch.
know.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Joe. It's just like much like she doesn't get as much of a shaft as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but she's still
Really?
not really all that good in this movie, to be honest.
look, nothing will be as bad as what they did to
Doing the
Jade.
street fighting already.
Food fight.
The Mortal Kombat.
That's perfectly good food wasted, you maniacs.
Tio. Food fight and the guy who produced this went on to
That
make
was
food
intentional,
fight.
Waves.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another interesting. Again, this is an interesting thing about this movie's effects. Yes, a lot of the CGI looks bad, like Dweb said. However, the Raiden effects look really good, and as you're about to see, the ice effects from Sub-Zero look fine. I will argue. Let's see. Yeah, and the choreography is fine as well.
I can see why
Yeah, this guy looked like he grew up fighting in the streets.
Ha.
Don't you mean dangerous streets?
I'll
For
admit, I really-
1995, these ice effects look fine.
Oh!
I've seen worse.
That's unfortunate.
Good old PG-13 stuff. Since he's frozen, no
Yeah,
blood.
you can tell they're trying to stress as much as flawless victory. yeah.
A floor isn't
I
just
know
flawless
what that
now.
is.
No, this is something. Allow me. No, allow me. Okay. Okay, allow me. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I've always appreciated this movie, especially back when it first came out. Do they get everything right? No, but you can tell they're trying, and that's at the very. I ask at least that. At least they're trying to get things right.
What
Yeah,
I
I can
can
definitely see
notice
that.
is that at least that the cast is having fun, which is something that again a lot of these adaptations do not really have. Like as much as more akin to the games that the Live movie is, I get the idea that the cast in that
Yep.
movie did not really have much fun. In this, this also stars a sort of mini traditional Goro being voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. It's not. I don't think he voices him in the games, but he did reprise the role for A Scorpion's Revenge.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
good.
neat.
You can't go wrong with Kevin Michael.
No, nowadays in the games too, they just have Freta Tashori play Goro, basically.
Fair enough.
Wait,
It's
really?
very basic too.
Well, okay, true. Fair enough. That's the games anyway. At least in every other stuff, they still have Kevin Michael Richardson as them.
It's because Jova, Goro hasn't really been involved plot-wise recently. So
fair
For
enough.
MKX, he was the DLC pre-order character.
nowadays he's just DLC character in terms like he doesn't actually. Or maybe in 12 we'll see him. Who knows?
I can kind of get that, seeing as how, given how his plot relevancy. Okay, look, there's only so many
hold
times
on.
you can
I know
bring
this
death
reaction.
to life.
There you go. That's Goro. Okay.
Ladies first.
Hey, you're the cop. Oh, here you go. Kano. Ladies and gentlemen, meet modern Kano's birth.
Also, if I recall correctly, Kano was Australian in the Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe game.
That's because, again, Ed Boon really loved this take on Kano, so yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, it wasn't just the reboot trilogy that did it.
Sure.
I think there's also some commentary on this in Mortal Kombat 11 because get this, apparently the younger version of Kano, which affects the future version, is the bald one.
It was a nice little nod to the fans.
Ironic.
Okay, so there you go, Dibs, to your delight, Goro in this movie is not CGI. So he's actually an animatronic. Yeah, the actor playing Kano is once again having a blast with this role. Clearly,
Again, this was actually very early in his career, Mr. Goddard. So that's
God,
really
he looks
good
like
too.
Yoda if he got buff.
Okay. You know what? If this movie is the reason Paul W.S. Anderson has such a strong career, and by strong I mean his career refuses to die despite the dreck he releases nowadays, I can understand that. This movie is, I mean, pretty remarkable for the time it came out in 1995.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Don't get me
Sorry.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. We had stuff like Jurassic Park, which already was pushing the envelope on animatronics, but still, in terms of adaptation and looks and acting, this one really does well. Also, that sound effect, Jesus.
And I do appreciate, again, it's some really good animatronic for Goro. Yeah, again, no, don't really make him a CGI because it wouldn't have really worked in 1995. So yeah, they made the right decision here.
Kano, you're small potatoes.
Again, it's just so great because, especially now, because yeah, this is the Kano we all know nowadays. So yeah, great.
Prince. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he is the prince of the Shokan. So
Yeah.
Just funny because for a prince, he tends to be a lackey a lot of times.
Oh, you don't even know the half of it, Shang-Tsung. You don't even know the half of it.
Get it? Because he's eating.
Oh, yeah, you're back, Dibs? Okay.
Yeah.
To your delight, Dibs, Goro is not CGI. He's an animatronic. And pretty good for what it is.
Like I said,
I
voiced by
thought,
Kevin Michael Richardson.
I thought he was a stop motion guy that they just added in post.
Nope.
Isn't that kind of... Well, it's an actor, I think, inside a suit, I think, isn't it?
Okay. If I recall correctly, it's an actor inside of a suit, but the one set of arms is animatronic, if I recall correctly.
Sure.
Regardless,
Oh, yeah.
practical effects.
That's an interesting thing, by the way, man, as well. This is also the movie that introduced the idea that that Outworld needs to win 10 tournaments to be given the right to conquer Earthrealm. Because in the original game, it was just... In a row, yeah. Thanks, Debs. In the game, there was never any 10 tournaments. But once again, this is yet another thing that Ed Boon implemented. Yes. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. This needs to be a keeping track dinger.
Also, I think this introduces more the concept of the actual consequence. In the original, it was just the right to conquer. Yes. Also, in this and the newer timeline too, it's an actual literal merging of worlds because if they're treated like two different planes of existence, that the victor will have the right to merge with the loser as a result, which is more horrifying. Which is how Edini actually got incorporated in Outworld.
Fun fact: Paul W.S. Anderson in recent years has actually expressed regret that he didn't stay on to make the second movie, actually. So, interesting.
Well, the second movie was directed by the guy who did the cinematography for this movie, John R. Leonetti.
Which is weird, because the cinematography in this movie is fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no... I mean, yeah, the cinematographer is definitely no Wally Feister or anything like that, but the cinematography is serviceable for the kind of movie that it is, especially considering its budget.
I love that line. You can't trust her. She's 10,000 years old. Yeah, so what?
You heard it here. You heard
in a nutshell.
You heard it. You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. Liu Kang is prefers older women.
Older women.
There you go.
Hey, I'm no one to judge.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, and here's another thing. They implement Reptile's invisibility move. And yes, I am aware that other ninjas also have invisibility moves, but Reptile is the one that is most well known for it, actually.
He's in reality a reptile, not a ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Did Reptile actually looking like an actual reptile influenced in the games?
No. This is back to Mortal Kombat 2. In Mortal Kombat 2's Reptile ending, it's revealed that he always was a reptile. So that's actually them getting stuff right from the games.
So if I have garnered this correctly, this has an interesting reception history. Like, apparently it was initially positively received, but then years later down, people started to hate it, but now people kind of sort of like it again.
It's again, Jova. The fact that the games basically resemble the movie a lot nowadays, probably that's the main reason. Because
to the point where they even got the actors from the movies to be DLC skins.
Now, like I said before, though,
Here we go.
Now, like I said before, though, from what I understand, it's a lot more simple with Annihilation. People just downright hate that movie still.
Annihilation was terrible, but we'll get to that next. Anyway,
that's the only movie I've seen. This is the first time I'm watching the first one.
This is actually a really good fight scene. It's well choreographed, and the actors once again performed their job well. Another elephant in the room that I would like to address is, yes, this movie is rated PG-13, so obviously the gory violence that Mortal Kombat is known for is not here. However, Paul W. Anderson has even specifically stated that he really wanted to implement that as well. Unfortunately, New Line's executives were not really keen on that because, according to Paul W. Anderson, this was back in the day where executives were convinced that video games were just a kid's thing, and, well, we can't really sell this movie to kids if it's rated R, now is it?
Now that I think about it, this was also the time where Hollywood was trying to push to have PG-13 stuff tied to R-rated icons like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. So I get the idea that it was a collective mentality more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, we nearly ended up with that crossover being PG-13.
Well, I'm talking about their respective series, Jova.
I like Raiden's reaction here.
Sorry.
You have defeated my minions. Now it's time to face the final boss.
Alright.
If that was in any other game, that would have been it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, okay, he's different than the way Raiden is written in the games, but I like this take on Raiden. It's an interesting take.
He's actually better written.
I get the feeling Christopher Lambert kept thinking he was filming Highlander.
Again.
Hey. Better than the Highlander sequels.
I still enjoy his take on Raiden. Yeah, it's different, but still good on its own right.
His Raiden is much... to be fair, the Raiden in the first game was actually more smug, so I get the idea they use that kind of thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this set design is quite interesting.
Yeah, no, I actually do like the look of the movie in general, actually. When it comes to a Mortal Kombat live-action movie in 1995, yeah, this is exactly what I would expect it to look like, actually. Yeah.
So, what exactly was the budget of this movie anyway?
18 million, right, Tips?
Yeah, 18.5, and it grossed 120 or something. So it was a huge success, technically.
Yep. Oh yeah, well, once again, this is another thing that, like I said, the Scorpion's Revenge would implement. Raiden is immortal, and only mortal people can enter the tournament, which means the other gods forbid Raiden to interfere, so obviously he can't save them from anything.
Even MK9 also applied that rule.
Yep.
Okay, time for the first match.
Now here's the official start of the tournament. Liu Kang fights, this guy.
He fights Ermac in his human form.
Well, Ermac was never a human to begin with. But,
yeah.
Wait, but what about that cutscene where he becomes human again?
Okay.
Snoop Dogg, what are you doing here?
Okay, come on now.
I'm joking.
That's clearly ludicrous.
There's Mortal Kombat, Mortal Pose Off.
Yeah.
I don't recall Ludacris ever having dreadlocks, though.
I still can't get, even after all these years, I still can't get over how freaking lucky they were to find Robin Shaw. Because yeah, I completely believe him as Liu Kang, completely.
This has the same energy casting as the Fox X-Men films. It's like, wow, the casting is so on point.
Yep.
Except for
Jackman,
Rogue.
Patrick Stewart, and even the later ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, except for Rogue.
I'm talking about the first one.
Again, like I said, except for Rogue, because I don't know what the hell they were thinking with Rogue.
Well, what's wrong with Elliot Page?
What? No.
That was Kitty Pryde. Sorry, that's
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah.
Do I get so many things wrong that when others get it?
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, Deds. Elliot Page was Kitty Pryde. No. She was great for the role. No, I'm talking about, again, whatever the hell the Fox movies thought they were doing with Rogue. It was more of this crawling in my skin instead of the lovely southern kick-ass gal we know and love. And that's not even getting
They
into
just
how
took the aspect of, Rogue doesn't like being a mutant because she can't touch anybody. That's it.
Well, they also needs the fact that she was a villain in the first place and blah blah blah. That's a huge story.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like in the game, we have Shang-Tsung in sitting down watching the fight. So nice touch.
Finish him?
No. There you go. Again, nowadays when people think Shang-Tsung, yeah, that's his trademark catchphrase.
So if you lose, this happened to you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
On whips. Wait for it.
Hey!
He said it! Yay!
Again, we can go on
Okay,
now.
the context is a bit weird, though.
It is. Well, remember, Grips, we can't have proper fatalities. It's PG-13, okay? Just look, they forced me to make this PG-13, okay? Just work with me here.
Grips, would you rather say friendship instead?
Friendship
again?
again.
For a laugh.
All right. But hey, look at that. The perfect. This is an ideal match. Yes, Sonya Blade versus her archenemy.
Johnny Cage.
Yes, this is another thing. By the way, this version of Shang-Tsung kinda has the hots for Sonya, which is a bit creepy. But he's supposed to be the villain. So yeah, I guess that's fine.
I mean, who wouldn't have the hots for Sonya?
Hold on. Again.
Well, come Mortal Kombat 11, a lot of people don't have the hots for thanks to that god-awful acting.
Yeah, well, Ronda Rousey sucks as a person.
I'm actually surprised that. Okay, remind me, is this actor still around? Because I'm actually surprised that Ed Boon didn't think of getting him to play Kano, because he would be perfect to be Kano in the new games.
Yes, I think. Let me check quickly his career again. Trevor Goddard.
I would love to hear him voice Kano again.
Oh, actually, no.
Hold on. Oh, he passed away?
2003.
Sadly.
My bad.
Oh, well. Well, dude, you'll always be remembered by Mortal Kombat fans, so there you go.
Are weapons allowed in Mortal Kombat?
Yes, they are. The only rule of Mortal Kombat webs is that if you die, you lose. That's the only rule.
And also remember, Kano has basically a laser beam in his right eye.
So I can bring a gun to a Mortal Kombat fight.
There are Aaron Black. Yeah.
Yep.
So is this like the canon explanation to why Sonya and Kano hate each other?
Yeah. Well, okay. Remind me, Teo. Did they implement Kano killing her partner in the games too? I don't remember if they did that.
I think so.
Okay. Basically, that's the story. Yes. So Kano killed one of her partners, and she wants revenge. Yes.
In general, the Special Forces have a history of being arch rivals to the Black Dragon clan.
Yes, the Black Dragon is a criminal association, and Sonya, being part of the Special Forces, is always trying to catch them, and why they're arch enemies and hate each other.
Oh boy.
All right, and here's actual. Okay.
Is getting turned on by this.
All right, now this is actually.
That's implying you wouldn't.
Oh, finish him! Yes, he said it. All right. Okay, and this is actually one of those killing moves that, yeah, perfect for Sonya.
Oh boy. Well, you asked for a break.
Kano be dead. We won.
How did he not use his laser eye?
They didn't add they didn't want. Oh boy, I was going to mention something about the special effect, but we're about to get this in a second.
Yes,
Next match, Johnny Cage versus Scorpion.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Johnny.
Okay, one thing that, it's really iffy is what they did with the spear in this movie.
Jesus Christ.
In the games, the spear is literally just...
not one of Scorpion's moves, damn it.
No, the spear is literally just that, a spear with a rope tied to it.
A kunai with chain.
In here, it's just a snake.
That's a parasite that's living inside Scorpion's arm. This is so stupid. This reminds me a lot of the Spawn movie.
Again,
which, during cinema. So.
And get this, apparently this mystical snake has limited range to it. Like, why is there even about...
Hey, said it.
I get, again, this is
They said get over here earlier.
Hold on, go on, Joe. Sorry.
Actually, I was the one saying it.
Sorry, go on.
In terms of, again, repeating, that the low point in terms of adapting is definitely Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which can be a big deal depending on your mileage may vary, but considering it's freaking Scorpion and Sub-Zero, I can understand why people would be mad.
Whoa.
Johnny Cage gets dragged.
And now, in Neverrealm.
Okay. Obviously, NetherRealm doesn't look like it should because of the low budget, but hey, they're trying their best with what they have, and that's all I'm asking.
This looks like the Godder, that dungeon from Dark Souls 2, if it was actually lead.
Yeah. In 1995, with this budget, I'm at the very least glad that they tried their best with what they had, because this is about as good as it was gonna get with the circumstances. So.
I think that's the best way to sum up this movie.
Teleports behind you.
Nothing personal, kid.
I think that's the best way to sum up this movie from what I've seen so far. They tried their best, and in a lot of ways, I do feel like it pays off and makes it that, at worst, you could at least consider this a time capsule of, some peak effects for the time being.
Some of them. The Raiden effects and the Sub-Zero... The Raiden special effects are actually pretty good. I actually really like his lightning effects. They look convincing even to this day, actually.
The Sub-Zero ones are good, too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. They got Scorpion's characterization all pretty much screwed up. However, I'm happy to say that they'll get his fatality right. So there's that. We can look forward to that at least.
I do wonder, though, why even make
so this is where Mortal Kombat 10 got the Raiden gets docked piled on from.
I do wonder, though, what exactly was the story point of making Sub-Zero and Scorpion, subjects of sanction?
Again, my guess is, Jova, they didn't really have the runtime to really explore that story, because that in itself can be its own movie. So they just have to sacrifice something.
Do you think it would have been better if they just saved them for the sequel?
Like you yourself said, Jova, they should if they told the story from the Scorpion's perspective, would have been a better idea, and Scorpion's revenge. But considering the time that this movie was made, it
makes sense that they focused on Liu Kang. Yeah.
Not just
also
that.
This core.
Not just that, but not just that, but considering the time that this movie was made, it is at the very least forgivable that they didn't really have the best thought process when it comes to everything, at least.
Think outside the box. Think outside the box.
Ow.
I mean, they at the very least have it full of skeletons. So it still does look like a Mortal Kombat. It still does look like a Mortal Kombat area,
So is it like the Pirates of the Caribbean Disney attraction where they use actual human bones?
You can tell they're
what?
You can tell they're
it's a urban legend, that you don't bother.
Oh, here we go.
Oh snap!
Toasted.
Yep.
Oh dear. So it turns
John,
out...
you wanna run? Yeah, that works too.
So it turns out in this version, Scorpion can literally take off his face.
Well, that's what he does in the games too.
Yeah,
so.
He removes his mask and reveals the skeleton.
Well, okay. Well, that's the thing. In the games, it was just him removing the mask. In this, it's removing the mask and apparently literally the skin off his face. So, yeah.
Don't worry, he survives this.
Again, you can tell. They're trying to push that PG-13 as hard as they can.
There is no way in hell Johnny Cage can beat Scorpion.
He just.
Oh come on, Johnny! Johnny Cage is a really great fighter. Come on, Dad.
Oh yeah, I know. But
There you go. A reference to his friendship. Good job, game.
Also, Dej, to be fair, the games are essentially balanced, so any fighter can beat any other in a normal match that you can do. So that's my suspension of disbelief can be from that. Now, the actual
granted, Johnny Cage can beat Shinnok, so I shouldn't be talking.
But not actually. That depends. Yes, but I can believe it as long as the match seems difficult. Like unbalanced. It's similar in Budokai, the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games. If a Frieza minion goes against Omega Shenron, I'm expecting to be a very uphill battle, but I still can believe I can beat him.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. Oh yeah. Now it's Liu Kang versus
Princess Kitana.
I guess now she sort of looks a bit more like Katana. Kinda.
Okay,
Not really.
I get the idea, but with this set, the team just wanted to go on a vacation and just happened to film there.
And I want to emphasize that. Hold on. Yeah, that's all Katana does in this movie. She just gives advice to Liu Kang. They don't even try to hint at their eventual. I mean, the second movie will try to finally bring in their romance, but it does it so badly that who cares?
What's the romance?
Sorry, she's stealing of her mother. Loss. Mother, you're alive.
Too bad you will die.
We have to see that movie, right?
Oh, no. Deji, it's literally the next one on the list. Literally.
Soon enough.
Oh my! Can you feel the sexual tension?
Okay. To her credit, I don't blame Talisa Soto. It's more so what they did writing-wise and in terms of her costume design. That's more so the problem. I can see Talisa Soto playing Katana fine enough. It's just that they didn't really give her the real Katana to play as. So yeah, okay. Katana's advice was, and I quote, "In the next fight, use the element that gives life." And
all right. If I'm going to be somewhat fair to this game for changes they made to Katana as well. But okay, so from what you told me, but when this movie was made, there were like only 2 Mortal Kombat games out, correct?
Yes, 3 came out in the same year, but well, obviously they didn't have any time to take inspiration for that anyway.
If I recall correctly, Katana's characterization may not have been as clear cut as it is now.
Well,
so
by two it was. Yes. Well, we had an entire ending where it's discovered that she's the princess she was the original princess of well, actually no, Outworld was only established after 2 too. Not we didn't have Edenia in 2 yet. So we did know that she was the princess. She had that look from. In fact, she was actually one of the fan favorite characters for fans to use in the second game. Jova. So yeah, I will argue that by the time they made this movie, they could have definitely got Katana better than this.
Although from what you told me, they still keep the princess angle. I guess they wanted to try something different with her. Okay,
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not going to act like that's a proper defense of this movie. Like, well, it is something that they legit messed up. I'm just trying to understand the mentality behind it for this.
I honestly do not know I can understand the mentality for Raiden, definitely, because Raiden was very bland, especially at this time. So they wanted to have a more give him a more personality, give him some, especially like Teo said, in the first 2 Mortal Kombat games. Raiden's personality was kind of flip-flopping between being a god that just destroys everything for the lols and suddenly now being good again. So I can understand
Wasn't the ending of Mortal Kombat 1, his ending was like he invited all the Elder Gods.
Yeah,
yes.
And the war is destroyed. Have a nice day.
Yep, basically.
Oh no, he's very slowly preparing his ice magic. Look out, Liu Kang.
Stay cool.
Oh my god, that's so cool. For a certain time, move out of the way.
Alright, everyone, just chill.
Oh.
Hi, Katana.
Telepathy?
Again, blood.
No, that would be water whips.
Well, the plasma of the blood is partially composed by water.
Oh,
so
oh
you're
no,
close,
sorry,
Luigi.
we can't do blood. It's PG-13.
Well, Dwibs, the whole blood thing again. Blood is technically water still. Oh,
I don't understand how throwing a bucket through a ball of ice suddenly creates a nice pillar that kills him, but whatever.
Especially considering he has ice power, so you think.
Not to mention, yeah, like it's still relatively dumb. But...
Like, no.
So he dies. What is this trope in movies?
I call it cold irony.
Where the thing that where they have a power, but it's that same power used on them that kills them, even though it shouldn't really have much of an effect.
Irony?
I guess.
Maybe.
oh boy! Now
So
the
it's
kid
Kevin Michael
blows off.
Richardson voicing Goro.
Yeah. Yes.
So basically, they figured, okay, we've let the humans win enough to make them think that it's not rigged.
Did they really? Because they were fought Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Well, Johnny won Scorpion. Actually, come to think of it, how does Johnny get out of NetherRealm?
NetherRealm, you mean?
That's a good question, actually.
DLC update.
What, for this movie that came out in 1995?
Okay, I can imagine Raiden
Well,
might have rescued him.
yeah. Raiden does have teleporting powers between realms too, so yeah, he can do that.
It's
Actually,
not interfering, you know.
technically it's not interfering. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good explanation too. To be fair.
Now, I don't think
dear.
the writers had enough foresight for that, but it's good for Ed Cairo, I'm gonna admit.
Again, for the time, yeah, this is exactly how you'd expect Goro to look like in this movie. So yeah, good.
Hey, is that guy by any chance Johnny's best friend? Because, yeah, he's probably the best friend who's gonna die, I'm guessing.
Yeah, sorry, he's
The best
he.
black friend who has to die, of course.
I'm not touching that one.
Tell me, man, the black guy
Wait,
always
Always
dies first.
dies first.
Wait, Johnny has.
Especially in horror movies.
I thought Ezekiel wouldn't let him have any friends.
Well, that's the thing, Dwebs. They're gonna implement his typical character arc, where after going through all these tribulations in Mortal Kombat, he starts being humbled and realizing that the world doesn't revolve around him. And after seeing his friend get killed right now by Goro, that's when he decides to stop being an ass and actually start taking this seriously and actually try to do his best to protect the other Earthrealm warriors, basically.
This is the most lethal, vicious beatdown I've seen since Rocky IV.
You could change.
It's okay, Joe. We got Creed out of it.
I mean, it's better than Rocky V.
Again, we had Rocky Balboa to make up before Creed.
And the two Creed movies after.
This guy looks like a shorter, less muscular Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. To go on a 1 minute wrestling segue, when they were preparing Cody Rhodes versus Shaq, Cody Rhodes says, "Okay, it'll be like me being Johnny Cage versus Goro. As long as he doesn't touch me, I win." And then this morning,
Shang-Tsung said finish him, but Goro at this point in time had no fatalities, so sorry guys, we can't have a Goro fatality.
Oh,
Yeah, this music also is trying to emulate a bit the first game's arcade music.
Pretty much.
Oh, for a second there, I thought he was going to twist it around and say, "Oh no, I'm taking Goro's soul."
That's a good eye drop.
Yes.
Dead. No.
Ding.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Just don't
You
keep
just
asking
have
me
to
about
Okay,
it. I'm not
that,
talking
that,
about
that
the
is a
jail
very nice
part.
statement, Raiden. Can you actually now give an actual tip?
But well,
No,
that's the thing. That's the thing too. His shtick in this movie is, of course, that they have to conquer their own fears and just if they're going to defeat Goro, they need to not fear him. That's the only way it can be done, basically. Not to mention not rush into any fight. Just he's now showing his their faults. There you go.
Because after all, bravery and stupidity are the same thing.
Well,
Or at least they walk on a thread, on a thin thread.
Well, to be fair, Dwebs, he did specify recklessly as well. He didn't just say bravely. I mean, yeah, bravely. Courage alone will not win you a fight. Recklessness will defeat you. To be fair.
Well, she doesn't trust anybody. Doesn't her field of work involve trusting someone else on her team?
Well, yeah, that's the problem, Dwebs. She needs to get over that.
Also, just think about it. She has clearly not trusted Jax enough to wait for him before getting on the dang ship. So yeah, that's a
Scorpion's Revenge will also implement this. That Sonya's primary character flaw is that she doesn't ask for help enough. She needs to start actually accepting help and realizing that there are partners and friends that can help her do this. She doesn't have to do everything on her own, So yeah, the Scorpion's Revenge, even Ed Boon will once again implement this as well.
I know despair is the greatest one of all. Danganronpa doesn't exist yet, so what else is there?
Wait, allow me. I know that despair is the one that rules all. I was in Highlander 2, the original.
As for Liu Kang's problem, he like we've established at the beginning, right now the only thing fueling him is revenge. He needs to realize that that alone will not bring him a perfect chi balance or whatever you want to call it.
Come to think of it, headcanon-wise, we could suggest that this version of Raiden is just Connor McLeod who is overdosed on the quickening.
Kinda.
Again, I can understand the idea. They want Liu Kang to actually earn his, super duper pure-hearted martial artist expert that he is in the games, which is a good logic, I will argue. Yes, start him with him being flawed, and he gets to a point where he does get to that point after development. So yeah, I can understand the logic here.
Is it sad that this movie understands chi better than the Mulan movie, the 2021?
Like that's hard.
I still haven't seen it, and I don't want to because Mulan's actually my favorite Disney movie, and no one say anything.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I love Mulan. Don't worry, I love Mulan too. Don't worry. Anyway.
Oh yeah. I like. No, Pedro. I think you mean you love Mulan.
The original Mulan, not the original Mulan.
Jova, it was Mulan, too.
Oh God! Don't even bring that up. I hate that movie. Anyway. Yeah, Johnny Cage decided that
I'm not challenging Goro. Why are you looking at me?
No, he's not talking to you, though. Don't worry. He's talking to him.
Yeah, no, it's just the way these shots are framed. It makes it look like I can't
There's
fight
a lot
him.
of
I'm the audience.
There's a lot of pointing at the camera.
Actually, in the future, Dribs, maybe the audience will be able to interact with the movie.
This is also the same arc Johnny Cage will actually have in the reboot trilogy. Like he, after realizing that the world doesn't revolve around him, he decides to man up and actually try his best to protect his friends and make sure nobody else dies. Basically, he also does the same thing in the reboot trilogy, especially when it comes to his family.
Oh, do you now?
Well, that actually is how it works. Actually, yes. So yeah, that checks out.
Seriously though, I can't get over how perfect this guy's face is for playing such a shifty villain.
No. This guy is amazing as Shang-Tsung. He's just so cool.
When did he come back for Mortal Kombat 10 or
11? He's Shang-Tsung in 11. Yeah.
Seriously though, I have to wonder again, does he have to scrunch his face that way every time, or is it just naturally like that? Because he always looks like he's scowling.
I actually like this interaction. Hold on.
All according to plan.
All according to Keiku.
Keikaku.
All according.
So yeah, so yeah, Johnny Cage will defeat Goro, and he will even implement one of his most iconic moves in it. So just wait and see.
Hey, well, come on, man.
Yeah, considering his characterization here, I can see why Deji would want the Miz to play him.
Mm-hmm.
In the new one, if that gets a sequel.
Oh.
See,
Here we go, Shaquille O'Neal versus versus Cody Rhodes.
Oh! I actually love what Goro says as he breaks the glasses. Hold on.
You should have done that.
Not just that, like I love.
$500.
Not just that, I love what he says as he crushes them. Oh.
Hey, the fight hasn't even begun yet.
Yeah,
We're already
seriously.
assuming we're finished now.
Oh, speaking of Kevin Michael Richardson,
Here we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Oh,
He did it!
the nut puncher.
he's
Yes.
been confirmed to be the new voice of Dr. Hibbert in The Simpsons.
Right there. Fuck. And that's enough.
I went.
Oh, come on, surely this has to be illegal.
Well,
Sorry.
at least he got balls of steel.
The only rule is don't die, Goro. Prince Goro. So go.
Can we, in the next tournament, can we please implement a no punching the balls rule?
The only primary rule is that, of course, you die when you lose when you die, and mortals can't run because, well, it's called Mortal Kombat for a reason.
Hey, look at the bright side. At least it didn't say that stupid cliche of the only rule is there are no rules.
Whoa, terrible CGI effect.
For the time, I've seen
blue
worse.
screen
Yeah,
the
it's
blue
still
screen
bad for
the
the
blue
time.
screen for this one was very
I've seen
noticeable.
I've seen worse though. To be honest with you,
I feel like they could have done better, though.
no, they could definitely, but at the same time, I've seen worse in this moves
Oh
of
my
this
god,
time.
he still has tears leaking
Oh.
from his eyes after that hit.
Ooh.
Oh, so I was right about the price of the sunglasses.
Very good, Dwibs.
Maybe you have
Congrats,
some
dude.
minor memory from the first time we watched this.
Oh.
Well, in that
Yeah,
case,
by the way, Gore dies like this.
Hold on, Java. Payoff.
Ooh, like it's the beginning. There's some Gore incorporation. This looks terrible.
I don't know. I liked it.
Hey, I guess it's somewhat better looking than the fall from RoboCop.
All right. Here's one problem.
So, how are you supposed to get Goro's soul? He's fallen down the.
He's not.
I don't think he cares about getting Gorsa.
Not at this point. Okay,
Oh.
here's one problem though. For some reason, Shang-Tsung captures Sonya, and for whatever reason, Sonya is not really able to put up a fight against him.
Pedro. He grabbed the female incapacitation area, the arms.
Of course.
This was a common problem in the 90s, where you would have this, really ass-kicking female, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the third act, suddenly she's captured, and she...
That's in distress, yeah. It's a shame, because Sonya was pretty much fine until this point. Even in her fight with Kano, she managed to, to get shit
Yeah, why can't
right.
it be Katana that got kidnapped instead?
Oh, right, Katana's a thing in this movie.
Yeah, she's the...
She was,
Well, she's still gonna show up, Teo, but yeah, true.
yeah.
Oh, is there now?
We were kind of a terrible teacher then.
So all he needed to learn was just out of the rule? What was with the mystical fortune cooking knowledge master?
Oh, here we go.
Interesting. It's interesting enough. By the time Christopher Lambert voiced Raiden in the new game, his voice was really raspy. Although some have argued his raspiness kind of sounds like his voice sounding like thunder. So
Yep.
would kind of be
It worked for the
appropriate.
better.
It worked out, yeah.
I mean, NK11 is nothing short of amazing because we even managed to get back the original actor of RoboCop to reprise his role.
That's amazing, actually.
Peter Weller.
Yep.
Yeah,
They got an amazing Arnold Schwarzenegger soundtrack, handpicked
And they
by the
actually
man
got, they actually got
himself.
Sylvester
Sylvester
Stallone
back
for Rambo,
voice Rambo.
Yep.
Warner Bros. Really loves to pay
Oh,
stuff.
oh.
Anyway, now, yeah, this is supposed to be Outworld, by the way.
Well, again, for the budget they had, this is actually pretty good for the budget they had.
No. Oh, no.
I mean,
Honestly,
also
I'm
I
fine
can
with
tell,
that,
I can actually see that this is probably a night shot instead of a day to
Oh
night
boy,
shot.
this PlayStation
That was
game
Goro's
looked
lair.
amazing for that.
Not to mention, Teo, at the time, nobody actually knew how Outworld looked like by the games, so it's like technically there was nothing wrong for them to get.
Yeah, I can actually
Honestly,
see.
Oh,
I love this line.
nice.
Hold on, I actually love this line.
Probably.
Anyway, you were saying to you?
Hey! I can actually believe this is an actual night shot instead of being day to night. Oh my god. Kind of miss this.
Are those your least favorite things in movies?
One of those, yes. Well, you have noticed probably, Dwebs, as the year passed by, but over the years, they have become kind of a thing that I cannot really stand.
Why is that?
I don't know, they just irk me off. Oh,
Randall, I knew it was you.
oh, Steve Buscemi, what are you
know
doing
what's,
here?
You know what's sad? This
What?
CGI would fit right in with Food Fight.
Yeah. Okay, even though they did get Reptile's invisibility stuff right, for whatever reason, they still make it so that the way he becomes, the way his ninja disguise works is that he possesses this statue. It's a bit weird, but again, at the time, things weren't super duper established as they are now today, so I'm willing to I'm willing to forgive them for this.
I mean, kudos. It's a way to get Reptile, the Green
Also,
Ninja
that
guy.
random announcer saying Reptile.
Yeah, they literally. It's actually the clip from Mortal Kombat 2 that they played there.
I mean, okay, by modern standards, this is herky jerk, but by the standards of movies back then, I could see people just geeking out at how awesome that is.
Mm-hmm. It looks green, yeah, and it looks like it's fine. It looks fine.
And like you said, Amico, they never could get consistent how he looked as in reptile form, so...
Also, another kick-ass piece of the score. If you're a fan of Maximilian, he is keep using still this to this day for good reason.
And this is a pretty good fight scene, honestly. I mean, sure, it's weird that, getting into a statue makes this, but, I've heard weirder retcons.
Yeah, the fight choreography in this movie is actually pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is no John Wick or anything, but for the budget they had and the time that they made this movie, yeah, it works out pretty well.
Like I said, I can definitely see the cast had the passion behind it, something that I cannot say for all the movies done these days.
Including the sequel. Yeah, okay, so didn't Annihilation have like a higher budget than this movie since now there was more faith in
I
the
actually
project?
don't know.
I think it did.
I'm gonna check in the meantime. Why not?
Which is weird. Yeah. That's sad then, Joe, because the sequel looks infinitely worse.
Yeah, I was about to
Annihilation had a
ask.
budget of $30 million.
They probably
Jesus.
wasted on the CGI.
That's almost twice the budget of this movie. God. It really is a shame when something that has a lot more going for it turns out to be worse than its predecessor, which actually had to struggle.
It proves that it's not how much money you have, is how you put it to use.
Oh.
I mean, if you give...
Is this the same guy that's playing either Scorpion or Sub-Zero by any chance?
I'm gonna check if it's the same actor. Why not?
I don't know. I can't tell. You can give Skip Woods $500 million and they'll still make a shit movie because he just sucks.
There we go. Keith Cook. There we go.
Bicycle kick! Yay!
Well, the vocal effects are provided by Frank Welker.
Of course, you can do animal voices.
Again, this was also one of his early roles in his career. This actually was kind of a launcher of a movie. Apparently,
Wait, Frank Walker?
No, Keith Cook. Although apparently he
so-
stopped doing stuff since 2012. Fair enough. Wait, he was in an episode of Obscure's
Fatality.
Lupa? Huh.
Maybe some kind of movie she reviewed. I don't know.
Probably.
Hi, I'm still in this movie. If you want to live.
Sorry,
We're not
we're-
in those movies yet.
we can't do that. Otherwise, we'll get sued.
Who knows? At this rate, we'll have it in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah,
So-
remember too. At the time, they didn't really establish Shedinian yet. At the time, they were still doing the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that
So, Johnny,
Would Mortal
where'd you go?
Kombat, would Mortal Kombat 11 be a good game for me to get on PS5?
yes, actually, you
It's
can.
not a good entry point, I can tell you that. But I mean, story-wise, but gameplay-wise, sure, it's very accessible anyway. so
From
why not?
from a story standpoint, it's the third of its series, and it expects you to know what happened before. So it's a story. No, it's a common problem the Mortal Kombat series has is that we barely get title re-releases. Especially
It's something akin to some. But most fighting games have that kind of problem, like Tekken. Aside from Street Fighter, for example.
I mean, surely it cannot be that hard to remaster Mortal Kombat 9 into current systems. I mean,
Okay, there's the fact that Warner Bros. Has kind of lost the rights. Also, that costume has lost the rights to Freddy Krueger
degrading.
because the West Craven estate has reclaimed that. So I don't know if he will have to
okay,
renegotiate that.
they can at the very least port the base version. I mean, that
Okay.
would be better than nothing.
I can tell this. I find it hilarious that in order to keep the servers online of MKX, Warner Bros. Now has to pay royalties for Disney because both an Alien and a Predator are in MKX.
Yeah, it's like this, Teo. I will argue that them porting the base version without the DLC characters is still better than nothing. I mean,
I think it kind of goes to like Mortal Kombat 4 through 8 as well.
yeah, no, that's the thing, Joe. 4 and 8 have been complete. I mean, we did get an arcade collection with 1, 2, and 3 in 2011.
That was done by Aberocean,
And
it
it's
wasn't really good.
and it wasn't really good. So yeah, it was.
Well,
But
my
I-
point is like what you're saying that 4 through 8 have never really gotten
His
re-releases.
outfit, seriously.
That's the thing too. Like I said, for whatever reason, they did this thing where Shang-Tsung really has some kind of fetish when it comes to Sonya. But again, he's the bad guy, so I can at the very least
I
understand.
can imagine that too. It's just that outfit really looks stupid.
He's like Spike Spiegel. I love
Like,
a woman.
if you
kick
want
my
to
ass.
sexualize her for this scene, why not having a bikini? Like,
I guess it's a sacrificial lamb outfit.
go fuck yourself in the ass. Yeah, close enough.
But we're already there.
Actually, Dwebs,
Yeah.
hold on, wait for it.
Turns out they already there. Yeah,
See?
yay!
Surprise!
No, what I meant was, he
So
said
were
go
you
to hell.
waiting? Were you waiting for her
Pedro,
to
what I
just
meant-
say that, guys?
Pedro, what I meant
Yes.
was, when she said go to hell, I thought Shang-Tsung was gonna be like, well, we're already in hell.
No,
Ah,
because
okay.
Outworld is not. It's NetherRealm.
At the remember too, we haven't established NetherRealm yet as well.
Well, they kind of did do with the fight between.
No, but remember too, at the time this was still called Earth's Hell.
Fair enough.
In Mortal Kombat 3, they still called Earth's Hell too. It was only Ultimate 3 that they finally mentioned in NetherRealm with Noob
Is your
Cybots.
name Johnny Cage?
Oh look, now he looks like Liu Kang from the games completely.
Well, he did.
Wait, what? Wait. Is Liu Kang actually the descendant of Kung Lao as well? or
Yes,
no?
he is. Both him and he's
Kung Lao.
both him and the current Kung Lao are descendants of the great Kung Lao. Yes,
So they are related. Okay.
they're brothers, kind of. They're
The Shaolin monks are kind of more of a family, like at least Bubble Brothers. So
also Jova. Well, he has been shirtless for various times in the movie. If that's what you're talking about.
But never really during a fight, though, you know.
I guess. Oh.
Johnny.
Ow. Okay, enough
Not the
Johnny Cage jokes.
time. So Scorpion's Revenge kinda makes sure that every time Johnny does one of his comments, Sonya punches him in the dick, and it's pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
And,
Yay!
Johnny Cage is voiced by Joe Mahal, the guy who plays Jeff from Community.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is that in Mortal Kombat 11, they give this actor they give his model a beard and hair to make him look more like old Shang-Tsung. So yeah, by the time 11 comes out, he's basically the perfect Shang-Tsung.
This also is implemented by the fact that 11 has a lot of cosmetics, so characters can have many different looks. So you can actually have any type of Shang-Tsung that you want, basically. Oh, that hurted.
You dare cut me?
All that for a drop of blood.
Oh no, he has a Vega complex.
And now he's gonna summon his mooks.
It's a bit generic Kitana. There we go, that's more like it.
Oh snap, he has a stand!
Oh no, no, this is Justice! A neighbor's stand, the old lady.
Yep. Damn,
Who was
Judge,
voiced by
is
Rita
that a
Repulsa on the dub.
JoJo reference?
Also,
what I showed, you're
guys,
too early. Your game is way later.
Also, funny story, guys. That Kano guy who you said was Australian here,
Mm-hmm.
he's actually English.
Oh, is he?
Was
Weird. Oh, was he? Sorry. Weird because his accent sounded Australian.
I guess he was directed to be like this.
No, he was born in Croydon.
Okay. Here's the thing. He was probably putting on an Australian accent for the movie.
Directed to be this way.
I'm guessing they couldn't find an Australian actor that looked like that. Maybe.
I guess Paul W.S. Anderson wanted to be quirky and said, "Yeah, just go for an Aussie accent."
I mean,
Apparently, he said he claimed to be of Australian descent.
Oh, okay then. Well,
Englishman
I mean, the
pretending to be
Australian
an
accent
Australian.
is fake anyway.
Ooh.
No, I'm serious. Like if you get down to it, if you hear someone from Australia,
Dej, with that logic, any kind of accent is technically fake because it's the
no, I mean the whole thing is like the Kano actor. He's faking the Australian.
Sure.
Rule of thumb here: if you go somewhere within a country, you'll eventually find somebody who does sound like them. It's just a matter of which. It's just a matter of which area of Australia you're in. So that's something, Dad. Those kind of accents, there actually are Australians who do talk like that. It's just a matter of finding the region that they speak with that certain dialect. It's sort of like how when it comes to British people trying to act like Americans, they often use a Southern or Western accent because that's the easy American accent to do.
Even though British people are better at interpreting American accents, and Americans are better at doing British accents.
Okay,
not really, no.
Okay, two things. One, does Katana only talk in generic movie quotes in this movie?
Yes, that's the problem with yes.
And two, interesting thing. In the French language release of this film, Christopher Lambert actually dubbed himself.
Nice.
Makes sense.
I mean, he's a French actor, so. Yeah.
So yeah, again, this is exactly why they added in a brother for Liu Kang in this movie, because they wanted to give him some kind of an emotional pull for the tournament, basically, and of course it gives the chance to have Shang-Tsung use his morphing ability to try to manipulate Liu Kang. So yeah, it is. Oh, look at that, a little reference to the pit.
Also, Dad's really gonna have to disagree with you. It's just as much half and half over there as it is over here.
Wow. We'll see.
Oh snap!
We'll discuss this later.
Yes, movie. I did see Lion King as well.
Well, this movie came out 1 year later. I don't think there was any really time to rip it off.
You'd
it's
be
possible.
surprised. That's usually plenty of time.
It's like something using a song that is akin to "My Heart Will Go On" like right after the Titanic was done. Ooh.
Just like his brother.
Well. How will Liu Kang get out of this one? I'm the chosen one.
The souls he's collected over the course of 1,000 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually an interesting idea that the movie brought up. The fact that if Shang-Tsung's mental fortitude decreases, he starts losing the control over his soul. That's an interesting idea. Hopefully one day we'll see this in the games as well. It's an interesting idea, actually.
It does tie well into the theme of needing to balance yourself mentally and having peace over yourself as well.
Which
kudos.
which Raiden was talking about, yeah. That's a good line, yeah. Very good.
Damn. Well, he is talking to the weak. Not shot.
Oh, the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 11 apparently is pretty good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good port. They had, of course, sacrifice some visual fidelity, but it actually runs pretty well.
That's the thing, Dwebs. When it comes to how well a port is, it does depend on how much effort is put into that port as well.
I do recommend getting either the PS4 and PS5 version since you can anyway, because those are still load
times and everything.
Yeah.
Bye.
Fatality.
That's the thing, Deji. For some reason, they haven't say flawless victory instead of fatality. There you go.
That is no way a flawless victory, considering he got punched several times.
Yeah, that. Points for effort, I guess. At least you tried.
Imagine if he'd said stage fatality instead.
Well, they don't actually say when it's a stage fatality. You just say fatality still. So
I mean, wouldn't it be a bit out of character for him to say fatality?
Not
really.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can't have a voice narrate out of nowhere. So I can understand the thought process of having the characters themselves say it. It's fine.
Hey, brother.
And then Liu Kang,
there you go.
Liu Kang walks over to his brother and falls into the pit and dies as well.
There you go. All of Shang-Tsung's souls are crossing over into the afterlife, and now Liu Kang, the Kang brothers, get the chance to say their final farewell. So that's nice.
Would that be a face seal turn? Chad just pulls him into the pit.
It's kind of the finale of Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, given the game...
You'll need all the peace he could get for the next film.
Of course, our one woman singing in the background.
I like this version, to be honest.
There you go.
Oh, we're at the end of the film already.
Yeah, the pace is surprisingly fast for this movie.
Well, considering the plot is simple, so there's no need to drag this out.
Hello, everybody. Are most of you ready for your plastic surgery?
We're children.
This music kind of reminds me, for some reason, of Ferngully, but I can't think why.
Raiden, were you just waiting here for us?
Well, it's not like he can help. He's not allowed to interfere.
I know, but this implies that he teleported all the way back to the temple ahead of them.
What a dick.
Well, Raiden can teleport, so.
Ha.
Is this?
Let's get wasted.
And now a hint to
Yeah.
what this is actually what happens at the end of the first tournament as well. So go ahead. Yeah, Shao Kahn. Yeah, well, remember, Dwebs, Shang-Tsung is in service of Shao Kahn, the Emperor. So yeah.
Shit.
And in here is gigantic, which is an interesting way to go about it, I guess.
Also, why are you gonna sound different in the next film?
Oh boy, I'm sure that the sequel will properly follow up with this right where it leaves off.
Oh yeah, back in these days, he was just Paul Anderson, not Paul W.S. Anderson. I guess the W.S.
Yeah.
came later. I don't know.
I think it's because there was like another director called Paul Anderson or whatnot.
Yeah.
And... yeah.
All right
that's why
then.
The WS...
Sure.
Is there an after credits scene?
No, I'm pretty sure there isn't.
No,
But
Raiden
yeah,
will
but yeah,
not be
but yeah.
invited to the Justice League initiative.
But yeah, like I said, I'm sure that the sequel will properly follow up with how this movie ends, right?
Well, it technically does, Joe. It's just that it's terrible. Anyway,
Alright, final thoughts, I guess.
Jova.
Want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, this movie it's a diamond in the rough. There's a lot of rough sand pretty much blocking out stuff, but if you dig deep enough, you can find a gem here. The set design is surprisingly well thought out here. While it does suck what they did with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, I do like what they do with Liu Kang, Sonya, and Johnny Cage. Also, Reptile surprisingly got very good treatment in this movie, like right down to the whole Green Ninja guys and stuff. So kudos there. Overall, it's a movie. It's like I said, this is one of the most interesting adaptations I've seen. It's the kind of adaptation that people loved, hated, now like overall. And that's because it was apparently good enough that the makers of the source material decided to have the source material take some inspiration from it. And arguably in a positive way. The music is good, the action is good. There are definitely some plot holes and some plot idiocies here and there that are kind of just, okay, we could have done this better. But overall, I like this, from the stuff to Goro to Shang-Tsung. Again, I do like a lot of the changes. Not all of them, mind you, but still not bad. Not bad. I mean, despite any negativity I've heard about this movie, I'd say it's overall something that surprisingly holds up to this day. It is not the best video game adaptation, though, and yeah, even before we suddenly came back to an era of supposedly good live-action video game adaptations, I don't know if I guess maybe back then I'd call it the best one. It depends, though. It still does have issues.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. I can tell you that the overall, the undeniable consensus back in 1995 was that this was the best yet, and for a while it did remain at that position because let's face it.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, no, video game adaptations were all terrible except for this was the one that actually tried.
And you know what? Honestly, I appreciate it for that. It is a legit good time, which is not something you can say for a lot of video game adaptations. Well, not ironically, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, good stuff. The sequel!
We'll
get
to that. Dwebs.
Well, I can say I definitely enjoyed it more this time than the first time.
Because
Guessing
you knew
it's
more about
because
the
I'm a bit more
franchise?
familiar with the source material now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still got some problems, mainly sort of a couple of the acting performances and the CGI. Seriously, even by 1995 standards, these are just ick.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, it's well cast, and Yeah, and since Paul Anderson didn't have anyone he could shove into our faces, he actually focused on the movie.
Yep.
Good on him.
You see, Paul, you see. Sorry.
Wait. The effects were done by Disney.
I don't know what to tell you.
What the hell happened there?
You see, Paul, you keep this in mind, Jova. Like when this is what happened when Resident Evil 1, the first movie, came out. Paul, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring glory to video game adaptations, not destroy them.
Oh, that's the ironic thing, actually. The first Resident Evil movie is actually not bad. Like, I mean, okay, people actually did have faith based off of the first Resident Evil movie. It was starting with Resident Evil Apocalypse when he pretty much started the whole Alice Mary Sue shtick, which, yeah, at that point, cries and all that.
Carry on, Lips.
Yeah, I mean, the music's not great. I mean, other than the theme tune.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fight scenes themselves, you know, when they're not being invaded by the
CGI,
the ghosts of Food Fight Future.
Ghost of Food Fight to come.
Yeah, are very good. I mean, for a movie in 1995, it's shot well, at least your camera work wise again, and maybe I guess it's just big because the guy who did the cinematography here directed the next one.
What the hell happened?
I'm guessing he's better at cinematography than he is directing, because after that film, he went back to his usual job until Annabelle, when he decided to be a director again.
So basically, he's Wally Pfister from the 90s. That's basically what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I can tell you this: the Annabelle movie is not really well regarded. It's considered it's considered kind of like the bad part of the Conjuring universe.
Oh,
go ahead.
I mean, I heard the next Annabelle movie was better, but anyway. But I mean, overall, it's perfectly fine. You know, it's not great, and it's not my favorite video game based movie. That would still go to the likes of the first Tomb Raider film. But overall, it's fine. I mean, I mean, considering what would happen 2 years later.
Yeah.
Was but okay, we're not well. Oh. Robin Shaw did the fight choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
He's an actual martial artist.
Yeah, he's an actual martial artist. So.
Yeah, I mean, getting him to choreograph the martial arts, mate.
Okay. You know what? Gotta give this movie credit. They didn't just rely on star power when it came to Liu Kang. Like, they actually got a guy who just legit fits.
Yeah.
And
that's it for me. I've already.
And to this day, Joe, people still meet him at cons and ask him for an autograph, because Mortal Kombat fans still appreciate the guy, because like he will forever be the one true actor for Liu Kang in a lot of fans' eyes. Although to be fair, although I'm not entirely convinced by the new trailer, the new actor that got to play Liu Kang, yeah, he looks fine as well. So the actor himself looks fine so far. So there's that. Deji, what do you think of the movie?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the cast of Mortal Kombat guest star in Space Jam 2.
Yeah.
So, this is the first time watching it. It's good. The casting is great. The plot isn't perfect, but for what limited story stuff that they had and made the best out of it, they did a good job. I like Johnny Cage in this.
Yeah.
This is where you fall down.
Goro doesn't look terrible as I thought he would be. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better than them trying to do a CGI thing.
It's also good
I respect them for that.
It is also good how every character does get a crowning moment of awesome in this movie, like Sonya taking down Kano, Johnny defeating freaking Goro, and of course Liu Kang taking down Shang-Tsung.
Johnny gets a double by defeating also Scorpion.
Yeah.
Giving him his autograph too.
Not just that, Dale. He literally counters Scorpion's fatality with his friendship. Now that's impressive.
Yeah.
Play Mortal Kombat 3 arcades everywhere from Midway. Come on, guys.
Go ahead, Mitch.
But yeah, I do like this shit. I do like it. It just makes me wonder what the hell happened during the sequel.
A lot of things.
A lot of things. All right.
Oh boy, I am looking kind of forward to that.
You done?
Yeah.
Go ahead, too.
Sure. Gotta be honest, I don't remember what were my final thoughts on the original commentary of this. But for now, since then, I've been getting back into the games. Also, players Victory Cup. Getting back into the games, enjoy them again. I kind of like with Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, when I get down to it. Sorry. As a movie, this is actually fine. It's aged better than I thought. The effects, some of the effects still don't work in my eyes, but other things can be appreciated. You know, like the actual light shots, and even some of the CGI effects, like Sub-Zero's eyes. Others, like some of blue screens or Scorpion's idea of this cool language chain that is in this movie, are more questionable still to this day. The casting is fine, actually. It's interesting how we managed to get most of the characters right, even for what was at the time. Now we have the hindsight that these designs will also influence future titles of the games, but for the time being, they were as close as we would get for most of these people, anyway. And the idea of the story is very simple and basic. I don't mind Shang-Tsung's age lift, but at the end of the day, as an actual adaptations, there are still some things that I don't really like that much. To put in comparison, as the adaptation that takes its liberties but ends up being a more enjoyable product, I kind of prefer still the Street Fighter movie over this.
I can see why.
Well, there's a bit of, but there's not much, much material that divides them. I get the idea they're close to be on the same level. Sorry. But no, I still enjoyed it as a movie overall, as an actual action type of movie. The sequel, on the other hand, will be a story for another time, but I think we foreshadowed enough, so Pedro, go on.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna disagree. I still think this is a better adaptation because the Street Fighter movie, the only character they really get right is M. Bison when you get right down to it. Everybody else is just not at all like they're supposed to be, I will argue. At least this movie did get most of the characters right. Not all of them, but most of them. That's more than I would expect in this day and age, 1995. So no, I'm still gonna have to side with this one as an adaptation. Because I don't really like don't get me wrong, Jean-Claude, I love you, but you are horribly miscast as Guile.
Guess we'll have to wait and see until the Street Fighter movie commentary.
Guile is not supposed to be
and then the Chun-Li movie.
Remind me, Dwez, what's his nationality again? Van Damme? Belgian. Guile is not supposed to be Belgian. Like, it's just whatever.
Well, I mean, I've got my own cabby, but we'll get to that.
Sure. I mean, at least for Liu Kang, they actually got an actor with the proper nationality, So I'm gonna have to give kudos to this movie for that. Yeah, they got most of the good guys. They pretty much all got right. I mean, Liu Kang is exactly as you'd expect. Sonya is exactly as you'd expect. Johnny Cage is perfectly as you'd expect. No foul there. Raiden is different than he was in the games, but it's an interesting, fun take on its own merits, I will argue. So it's fine, especially considering that at the time that this movie was made, it didn't have that much going on. They didn't have much to go on in terms of trying to develop Raiden. So I can definitely understand the idea, and the core aspects of Raiden being the mentor that advises the Earthrealm warriors and being the god of Earth is still there anyway. Sorry, the god of Thunder is still there anyway. So the important stuff they did get right. They just give him a more fun personality, and it works. I mean, Christopher Lambert is clearly having a blast, and it works out in the end. The plot is basically an adaptation of the first game, which of course makes sense, and it follows pretty much fine enough. Yeah, they implement various moves and various visual cues from the games, which are great for fans. The music is really cool, and visually and action-wise, yeah, it's pretty darn good for its time. It works. It's really fun to watch as a result of it. And yeah, it's still a solid adaptation. Yes, if you pretend for a moment that you know anything about Mortal Kombat, and just judge this as a movie and a story on its own, yeah, it's very silly, and the story doesn't really fully entirely work or anything like that. However, you can tell this was a movie that was being made for the fans, so I can at the very least excuse it there. Like it's technically not a good movie, quote unquote, but it is a lot of fun. Which and it does get most things right, which was what the most important thing for this movie anyway. So I give kudos to Paul Anderson and his team for putting on a good show. Surely with a $30 million budget, they will do even better, right?
Right.
With a guy who barely, if even, had directed a film before.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everybody, for the sequel, Paul W.S. Anderson did not return, something that he actually regretted years later.
Wow. I can't believe I'm hearing the words Paul W. Anderson did not return for the sequel as a negative. Jesus, wow.
Well, that's a thing, Jova. This was a very different Paul W.S. Anderson. At the time, he hadn't been consumed by a succubus. So, no, that's me. I don't have anything against Mila Jovovich. That's fine. I just wish Paul wouldn't shove her in our faces for so much.
I wonder if the Monster Hunter movie was any good.
I'll tell you after we're done, especially because anyway, we're close. So I guess.
All right.
For a generation of Mortal Kombat annihilation.
Yes, everybody. Before we move on to the next Mortal Kombat game, we have one more movie to tackle that came out in 1997, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where only three actors from this movie will reprise their role.
Oh,
kind of sad.
Mm-hmm. But hey, if it helps you, Jova, they get Scorpion and Sub-Zero better in the next movie. That's something.
From what I've heard, that apparently did not save the movie one iota.
No, that's the thing, Jova. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are barely in the movie. So.
And which is interesting because one of the credited screenwriters in that film, John Tobias.
Yeah. We'll see you next time for Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
See ya, everybody.